Last class we learnt about transpiration. In this class you are going to learn about the topic translocation of organic solutes. Before that you are going to learn about that measurement of transpiration. So what does mean by transpiration? The loss of water in the form of water vapor is called as a transpiration. So the for measurement of the transpiration, the instrument used is called as a Ganang's photometer. So the Ganang's photometer is an instrument which is used to measure the rate of transpiration indirectly. In this, the amount of water observed is measured and assumed that the amount is equal to the amount of water transpired. That is, the amount of water observed during absorption is equal to the amount of water transpired, that is lost by the plants by means of transpiration. So the for measurement of transpiration, the instrument used is called as a Ganang's photometer. The Ganang's photometer is an apparatus which consists of horizontal graduated tube. It consists of an horizontal graduated tube which is bent in both the opposite sides. So it is a horizontal glass graduated tube which is bent in opposite direction at its end. One end is wide and the other end is narrow. So in this instrument, one end is wider and the other end is narrow in nature. A reservoir, that is a storage of water, as a reservoir is fixed to the horizontal tube near the wider end. The reservoir has a stopcock, so to regulate the water flow. The apparatus is filled with water from reservoir. A twig is a small twig. A twig means a part of a plant is fixed to the wider arm through a split cock. The other bent end of the horizontal tube is fixed into a beaker which containing a colored water. So an air bubble is introduced into the graduated tube at the narrow end. So keep this setup in a sunlight and observe. After some hours, as the transpiration takes place, the air bubbles which are present in the beaker is moves towards the twig. It is due to transpiration. So the loss of water is compensated by the water which is absorbed through the xylem portion of the twig. Thus, the rate of water absorption is equal to the rate of water lost by means of transpiration. So this is the Ganang apparatus is used to measure the rate of transpiration indirectly. So the amount of water which is absorbed by the plants through the xylem is equal to the amount of water lost by the plants by means of transpiration. So next test is a cobalt chloride paper method. So for that, a dorsiventral leaf is selected. Dorsiventral means the leaf, which is the mesophil of the leaf, is differentiated into upper palisade parenchyma and lower spongy parenchyma is called as a dorsiventral leaf. So as healthy dorsiventral leaf, mostly the dicot plant shows a dorsiventral leaf is unclean its upper and lower surface by using a dry cotton. So now we place a dry cobalt chloride strip on the leaf on both the surfaces, both upper surface and lower surface, and immediately cover the cobalt chloride strip by using a glass slide and immobilize them without any movement. A strip is made, a clip is made to the strip, applied to the strip. It will be observed after some times that the cobalt chloride strip on the lower surface of the epidermis turns pink in color. So this indicates that the cobalt chloride becomes hydrated. It absorbs water. So due to that, the water vapor coming out through the stomata. So the rate of transpiration is more on the lower surface than in the upper surface of the dorsiventral leaf. That is, the cobalt chloride test is used to demonstrate that the more amount of water is lost through the lower surface than the upper surface, because the presence of stomata is more in the lower surface compared to the upper surface in order to avoid transpiration. Significance of transpiration. So transpiration leads to loss of water as in the form of water vapor. And this, due to transpiration, that is 95% of observed water is lost in by means of transpiration. It seems to be that is an evil process to the plants. However, number of processes like absorption of water, send up of sap, and absorption of minerals are directly relay the on the transpiration, depends upon the transpiration. Moreover, plants withstand against a heavy hot the sunlight due to transpiration. Hence, the transpiration is a evil, necessary evil as stated by Curtis. So, transpiration is a necessary evil as stated by Curtis, because the plants depends on transpiration for absorption of water, ascent up of sap, and mineral absorption. Translocation of organic solutes, that is the movement of food materials, takes place in plants. The leaves synthesize food material through photosynthesis and store in the form of starch grains and stored in the tubers, flowers, fruits. When required, the starch is converted into simple sugar. They must be transported on various parts of the plant system for further utilization. However, the site of food production is the leaves, and the site of utilizations are separated. They are far apart from each other. Hence, the organic food has to be transported to these areas. The phenomena of food transportation from the site of synthesis to the site of utilization is known as translocation of organic solutes. The term solids depends on food materials that moves in a solution. That is, the movement of food material takes place in a water solution is called as a translocation of organic solute, because the leaves synthesize the food, whereas the remaining parts depends upon the food. So the food material which is synthesized by the leaf is translocated to the phloem, to all part of the plant. It is the needed part by means of phloem. So this movement of food material from the leaves to the other organ is called as a translocation of organic solutes. The next, path of translocation. It has been now established that the phloem is essential for the translocation of food. So the phloem is the path of translocation of solutes. It is proved by an experiment is called as a ringing or griddle experiment. It will clearly demonstrate that the food material is translocated by means of a phloem. So the food material is translocated by means of phloem. The experiment is ringing or griddle experiment. The ringing or griddling experiment is involves the removal of all the tissue outside the vascular cambium except the xylem, whereas the other tissues are removed, such as cortex, phloem, bark of the plant is removed. Only the xylem is present in it. The xylem is the only remaining tissue in the girdled area which connects the upper and the lower part of the plant. This setup is placed in a beaker which containing water. After some time, it is observed that there is a swelling on the upper part of the upper part of the ring appears. As a result, due to the there is a swelling is appeared in the upper part of the plant. It is due to the accumulation of food materials in the upper part. So there is no food material is translocated below the upper region. It's due to lack of the phloem. If this experiment is continued within a days, the root first get died. So the root part, lack of food material, it get died because it is not supplied by the food materials. Due to that, the root is cut down by the removal of the phloem. The roots cannot synthesize their food materials. For food material, it is depends upon the leaf part. As the phloem is removed in this plant, there is no food supply to the roots. As the roots gradually die, the upper part of the stem, which depends upon the root for the ascent of sap, will immediately die. That is, ultimately it leads to the death of the upper part of the plant. This experiment clearly explained that the phloem is responsible for the translocation of solutes. Even though the xylem is present in this plant, but it is unable to translocate the food material. Only it supplies water to the upper part. Due to that, the upper part is alive for some days. After the death of the root, the upper part is also causes ultimate death. Direction of translocation. The phloem translocates the product of photosynthesis, that is starch, from the leaves to the area where it needs, that is area of growth and storage. So the translocation of food takes place by different direction, that is downward direction, upward direction and radial direction. In upward direction, from the leaves to the developing buds. Here developing buds is the developing shoot system yet to develops. So that flower and fruits for consumption and storage. And germination of seed is a good example for upward direction of food material. So downward direction from the leaves to the stem and the roots. So the downward direction takes place from the leaves to the stem and the roots. Radial direction from cells of the pith to the cortex and epidermis. The food materials are radially translocated. That is the flow. The direction of translocation are downward direction, upward direction and radial direction. The source. The source is defined as the any organ of the plant which are capable of exporting food materials to the area of metabolism or to the area of storage. That is, the source is defined as the leaves. That is, any organ of the plant which are capable of exporting food materials to the area of metabolism or the area of storage. For example, the mature leaves and germinating seeds are the example for the source. Sink. The sink is defined as any plant organ which receives food, which obtain food from the source is called as a sink. Example for sink is roots, tubers, and developing fruits are and immature leaves or the example for sinks. The source example is mature leaves and germinating seeds. The example for sink is the roots, tubers, developing fruits, and immature leaves. The next, phloem loading. The movement of photosynthesis. That is, photosynthesis is a starch. The product of photosynthesis from mesophyll. Mesophyll is a part of the leaf from the mesophyll. That is the entire tissue which is present in between the upper and the lower epidermis of the leaf is called as a mesophyll. Cells to the phloem sieve elements of a mature leaf is known as a phloem loading. What does mean by phloem loading? The source, that is the starch from the mesophyll of the leaf to the phloem sieve element, that is food conducting element of a mature leaf, is known as a phloem loading. It consists of 3 steps. The phloem loading consists of 3 steps. First, the sieve tube conducts sucrose only. The sieve tube conducts only sucrose, but the photosynthesis in the chloroplast mostly in the form of a starch. That is, a photosynthetic product of the leaf is a starch, but the phloem is able to conduct only the sugar in the form of sucrose, mostly in the form of a starch or triose phosphate, which has to be transported to the cytoplasm, where it will be converted into sucrose for further translocation. So the sieve tubes are able to conduct the food materials in the form of sucrose, but the photosynthetic product is a starch or triose phosphate. The starch or triose phosphate, which is synthesized by the plant leaf in the chloroplast, is moved to the cytoplasm of the cell, where it is converted in the form of sucrose for the further translocation. In the second step, the sucrose from the mesophyll to the nearby sieve elements by a short distance. So the food materials which is present in the leaf is moved to the sieve elements by a short distance transport. And the third, from the sieve tubes to the sink is a long distance transport. So source to the sieve tube is a short distance transport, whereas the phloem to the sink is a long distance transport. These are the 3 steps involved in the phloem loading. Phloem unloading. The sucrose which is present in the sieve element is translocated to the sink is called as a phloem unloading. From the sieve element to the sink is called as a phloem unloading. So the organs such as roots, tubers, flowers and fruits is the process is termed as a phloem unloading. It also consists of 3 steps. In the first step, the sieve elements unloading sucrose from the leaf to the leaves, sucrose leaves from the sieve elements. In short distance transport, the movement of sucrose which is present in the sieve tube to the sink, that is needed area, is called as a short distance transportation. Storage and metabolism. The final steps when sugar are stored or metabolized in the sink cells, that is either in the roots or in the tubers, or it is stored in the flowers and fruits, is called as a phloem unloading. Like the phloem loading, it also takes place by 3 steps. Mechanism of translocation. There are several theories have been proposed to explain the mechanism of transpiration. Some of the theories which explain the mechanism of transpiration are diffusion hypothesis, activated diffusion theory, electroosmotic theory, Munch mass flow theory. First is a diffusion hypothesis theory. So in diffusion hypothesis theory, this theory states the translocation of food material from higher concentration, that is the place of synthesis, that is mesophil region, to a lower concentration, the place of needed roots or tubers or flowers and fruits. By the simple physical process, the movement of food material takes place by higher concentration to the lower concentration by a simple physical process. However, this theory was rejected because the speed of translocation is much higher than simple diffusion, and translocation is a biological process which any poison can halt. The next, activated diffusion theory. This theory was proposed by Mason and Maskell in the year 1936. According to this theory, the diffusion in sieve tubes is accelerated either by activating the diffusion molecules or by reducing the protoplasmic resistance to their diffusion. Electroosmotic theory. The electroosmotic theory was proposed by Fenson and Spanner in the year 1958. According to this theory, an electric potential across the sea plate causes the movement of water along with the food. So this theory fails to explain several problems concerning translocation. Munch mass flow hypothesis. So, mass flow hypothesis first proposed by Munch in the year 1930 and elaborated by Crafts in the year 1938. According to this hypothesis, the organic substance, that is food materials, solid, moves from the region of higher osmotic potential, that is the region of synthesis, mucophil, to the region of low osmotic pressure, that is sink, along with the Turgor pressure gradient. The principle involved in this hypothesis can be explained by simple physical system. For this, an experiment is done by them. A chamber A and a B are made up by a semi-permeable, that is, it can allow only a certain substances, connected by the tube T immersed in the reservoir of water. Chamber A and the chamber B are connected by a T tube which is immersed in the beaker which containing a water. So chamber A contains a concentrated sugar solution and chamber B contains a dilute sugar solution. The high concentration sugar solution of a chamber A is a hypertonic, that is, it contains more solute than the solution state, which draws water from the reservoir by end osmosis. So due to osmosis, the movement of water from the water reservoir to inside the chamber A through the semi-permeable membrane takes place. So due to that, the continuous entry of water from the water reservoir into the chamber A causes Turgor pressure is increased. Due to increase in the Turgor pressure in chamber A force the mass flow of sugar solution to chamber B takes place through the T tube along with Turgor pressure gradient. The movement of solute food material will continue till the solution in both the chamber, both A and B, attains the state of isotonic condition and the system becomes inactive. So isotonic, if the chamber A and B obtains isotonic condition, the movement of water is stopped. However, if a new sugar solution is added to the chamber A, the system will once again starts to turn the same process. So it's similar analogous system as given in the experiment existent plants. The chamber A is compared to the mesophyll cells of the leaves, which contains higher concentration of food material in soluble form. In short, A is the production point called the source. That is, it is a photosynthetic area called the source. Then chamber B is compared to the cells of stem and roots, where the food material is utilized or needed. In short, B is consumption end called a sink. Tube T is compared to the seed tubes of the phloem, which is involved in the translocation of food materials from source, that is area of synthesis, to the area of utilization. So the mesophyll cells draw water from the xylem. The xylem is compared to the reservoir which is present in the beaker of the leaves by endosmosis, leading to increase in the turgor pressure of mesophyll cells. The turgor pressure in the cells of stem and the roots are comparatively low, and hence the soluble organic solids begins to flow en masse from mesophyll through the phloem to the cells of the stem and the roots along the gradient turgor pressure. In the cells of stem and the roots, the organic solutes are either consumed or converted into insoluble form, and the excess water is released into xylem through cambium. The next, merits. When woody or herbaceous, woody means thick trees and herbaceous means the stem is immature in condition. It can be weak stemmed. Herbaceous plants is griddled. The sap contains high sugar containing exudate from curtained. When we cut the stem, the sap exudate containing high sugar is present. In positive concentration gradient disappear when the plants are defoliated. That is, the removal of leaf from the stem causes positive concentration gradients. Gradients disappear when the plants are defoliated. Leaves are removed. Objections. The hypothesis explains the unidirectional movement of solute only, but the direction of movement is upward, downward, and radial as takes place. However, in bidirectional movement of solutes is commonly observed in the plants. Osmotic pressure of mesophyll cells and that of the roots hairs do not conform the requirements. This theory gives passive role to the sieve tube and the protoplasm, while some workers demonstrated the involvement of ATP, that is active process.